welcome once again to the usually serviceable, hopelessly miscast podcast here at GCT with our normal panelists and friends. Brian.
Good day. May I have a spot of tea, please?
Yeah, we decided to go classy with the music. And Christina.
Hello.
She doesn't want a spot of tea, just a cucumber sandwich to go with that. So, tea and crumpets, isn't that the usual dish?
Please.
So
let's watch cricket.
Right. I can see why cricket hasn't caught on in the States. So, if you don't know who we are, I'm just a random person here at GCT who hangs out until Brian decides he's finished with me and throws me out. Brian is our executive director here at GCT, and Christina is our education director here at GCT. So, welcome once again to our sort of weekly, sort of twice a week type podcast. We just enjoy doing it, even if nobody's listening.
We don't care.
Yes, correct. Because this is fun for us, and it's all about us, right?
Yes.
So, what we start each show with is we like to, I'll say, dissect a classic show each week. We open it up and see the guts. And given that this is Brian gets to choose odd numbered show choices, and this is our third show. Brian has selected a show very near and dear to both of these guys, which is First Date. Oh, it's not necessarily near and dear to one of our former stars of First Date, apparently. But since Brian was the director last time we did it here at GCT, I'll actually let him give an overview of the show from his perspective.
Sure. My first trip to New York City, Broadway, this was the second show we saw, my wife and I, the first being Once. I don't know if a lot of our listeners, our listener has been to Broadway, so listener, if you've not been to Broadway.
3 of the 4 of those are us.
Upon going into a theater on Broadway and watching a production, in general, those shows are shows that we could never stage here due to the size and intricacies of the show. But this show immediately struck me as a show that we could absolutely do here at GCT, and we did do at GCT, and I think we did quite well in spite of its direction that was...
Don't talk about Rachel like that.
I know. One of the directors was trash. But... this show, so often I think people think plays and musicals, what's the message? What's the point? It's kind of trying to get across to some extent. I mean, okay, there's no point to Cats, but, like Hamilton, that's a big one with a big message, or like a show we did last season, Next to Normal. It's shows that, are important, and we should do important shows. And First Date is absolutely not that show. And that's great, and that's wonderful, and that's why I love it so much.
You left Violet out.
I did leave Violet out.
Why would you besmirch the good name of Violet?
Well, because when I saw Violet, I couldn't understand any of it. So, because it wasn't mic'd, so I had no idea what was being said. I was told after the show the girl was hit in the face with the axe. I was like, oh, that sounds bad.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
You
didn't do it on stage.
No, you didn't get to see it, but I'm telling you,
Was this a Greek play? This offstage violence? Let me see the axe. Let me see the girl get hit.
I can go find the axe. It's probably in the attic somewhere. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
As usual.
This isn't a deep dive on Violet, now is it?
No,
it is now.
On First Date. So anyways, it's a great show. It's 90 minutes, which is, I love a good 90-minute show.
It's a good thing.
It was the first time the 3 of us were ever in a room together was the midnight showing. So that was, the moment that we were all, little did we know, we'd be destined to be sitting here doing podcasts.
Yeah. I'm very fond.
September
that night.
2020, talking about First Date. I wanted to go see the show. It was at TKTS, and we were cheap, so everything we saw was through TKTS. And I heard that Zachary Levi was lead, and I love Zachary Levi from Chuck. I love the show Chuck. And so I talked my wife into allowing me to get tickets to this. And so we saw it and loved it. Loved it so much that we brought to GCT, cast some mostly talented people in the show,
Okay.
with a few exceptions.
Yep.
I would have said half, but that's just me.
I did my best. Okay.
Overall, the show was quite successful for us. I mean, it was basically a sellout from opening night to closing night. So I think it's a great show. I think no one else in town should ever do it except us. So don't get any ideas anymore.
Don't even
If
think
you ask
about
your fellow co-director, I think we'd do it every season.
Yes,
Aw.
that's correct. We would
So-
absolutely do it every season.
Since I
Who knows?
got
It may
verbally
come back
accosted.
soon. It may come back soon. Not next year. Not season 50, because season 50 is pretty full. But who knows?
I mean, she did verbally accost me for suggesting that
Verbally
we wouldn't
accosts
do
everyone.
it
But
in the next season or two.
The Noive.
Yeah. So anyway, okay. So great. So what do you guys think? And I'll say there's probably a little bit of bias. What's the best character in the show? Christina, what's the best character?
Okay. Based on the way it's written, I have this actually brings me to my one beef with this show and the way that it is written.
Awesome.
So,
Bring it.
let me combine. I'm going to do a sweet combination on this. The show is so delightful, and I don't want anyone to think that I don't love it. I really do. However, it is also a show that is really, really clearly male perspective centric. And consequently, I think the most fleshed out and lovable character of the show is Zachary Levi's character. And they kind of did a disservice writing the female lead of this show. She's kind of unlikable at times. It's an obstacle to work around. And I kind of think that it just is a little bit of a disservice to her. It's really funny because as I was thinking about this earlier, you know that a man wrote First Date the musical because like the idea of going on a first date and the like hijinks of how it goes wrong is that musical. And if like a lady wrote First Date the musical and it was about how a first date goes wrong, it's a horror, like a horror
Well,
musical.
having friends of mine, females who have gotten into the, I know First Date wasn't necessarily about online dating.
Yeah.
But having female friends that I know who have gone through online dating and that hell,
Hooey.
the show would probably last about 8 minutes
Yeah. Like
based on some of the dates they've described.
Truly.
So it would be called A Lot of First Dates.
Yeah. It's
It's
really
probably
funny.
what it'd be called.
They really do a lovely job writing some of the like minor characters, like the gay BFF is so hilarious. It's just such a delightful little cameo. The waiter is so lovely, but they really kind of
Unless he's flipping off audience
do
members.
bless them, let them be. They kind of did a crappy job writing Casey, which is my one beef with the show. So I feel like they just had a really clear male perspective and maybe not as much of what it's like to be a lady dating, but
That makes
meh.
sense.
My 2 cents.
What about you, Brian? Best character, worst character?
Best character is clearly Reggie. Clearly, because he's just fun. I would say the worst character. When probably the Protestant father in the song.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I
he's
forgot about him.
Good
he's
answer.
very judgy. And kind of going to Christina's point, this show's already been adapted by other people. I believe there was a very similar music video set similar to this at Avenue Coffee a few years ago.
Yeah,
Two
was.
young people got together and
I've heard of that.
they didn't want to go on a first date. They were scared.
Did the date end the same way as first date ends?
I would say that date ended better than first date
Well,
did.
we assume it ended better
We
by what
assume
we
it's
see
true.
at the end.
Yeah, that tripod We don't know what that tripod.
Well, and I mean,
On the
albeit that there
porch
was a
saw.
tripod on the porch,
Yeah.
it could have been a very short visit with the tripod.
It could
Let's
have
put
been.
it that way.
Yeah.
Which, if that had been written from a female or male perspective, is probably a very different show too.
Yeah. Probably so.
Oh
Probably so.
boy.
But I do have a question.
Hey, he brought it up this time. I didn't
Paul-
bring it up.
Paul, my circular logic, but Paul did bring something up. What do you think, as the person that played Casey in the show, what happened at the end after the curtain closed with those two? What do you think?
Unanswerable questions, but go
I
ahead.
think they went on more dates.
Do you think it worked out?
I hope it worked out.
Become
like
a
to think-
relationship.
I like to think it worked out.
How long did it take before she dumps him?
I hope she
Weeks or months?
I hope she didn't.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I gave it 7 weeks. That was my over/under from Vegas.
Interesting.
So it sounds like you're taking the over.
Yeah.
I took a slight under on
I
the
think
7 weeks.
they divorced after 3 kids. But,
Well, there's that. There could be that too.
yeah.
And then they get to have another first date with
Yeah.
other people.
Except they've not dated for like 10, 15 years, and they're really, really out of it because now there's so many more dating apps, and
Well, I mean,
the people are even more desperate than they were when
if
they
you
were in
guys
their
want to write a
20s.
sequel called Love Always Dies instead of Love Never Dies, we can totally take Lloyd Webber to task. Where would first date after divorce be set?
Ooh, Longhorn Steakhouse.
Dude, you just lost your rewards card at Longhorn, I'm guessing.
Oh God.
Not that they're a sponsor or anything.
I need to see this sequel fleshed out.
Well, but where would you set the sequel? So, characters have married, they've got 2.3 kids, and now they're divorced.
Well, it clearly couldn't be in New York anymore because it's too expensive. to
Yeah, I
have
mean-
Yeah,
in
they've
New
had to
York.
move out to the burbs by this point, so they're probably in like Jersey, right?
Yeah, they'd be in Jersey.
And
So,
Jersey, yeah.
I mean, seriously, Longhorn Steakhouse in Jersey. I mean, that's
Macaroni Grill,
Macaroni Grill.
yeah, there's that.
Cheesecake Factory,
the
perhaps.
Cheesecake Factory. For
Applebee's?
Sure.
What about Applebee's? Did we sink that low?
I hope
No.
Buffalo Wild Wings?
As bad as it got between these two people were way too classy for Applebee's.
I think
know,
most
maybe
people
not.
are too classy, but I won't say everybody.
I will admit that I used to think like the pinnacle of food was Outback Steakhouse.
Oh my God, yes.
Wow.
That was a fancy date.
You better
get
not
to go
ever
to
talk to
Outback.
Carson and Roland.
Yeah.
That's one of the pinnacles of their eating experience.
Well,
Aw.
okay.
Granted, their
Granted, I
menu
was
is
closer
about-
to their age then too. So as you
Well, that's
get older,
true.
you learn. So you know.
Yeah. So, okay, favorite part of the show.
The pickle.
The pickle.
The pickle. That's a good one. Yeah. Good
I
answer.
love pickles.
The pickle.
Yeah.
The gherkin. Yeah.
I love pickles.
How about you, Brian?
Oh, the pickle is so good.
Yeah, it is.
Just never will laugh as hard as us trying to rehearse through that pickle. Just never.
That was a very fun rehearsal process.
It was so hard.
Well, it says that you'll get to rehearse it again
Yeah,
at some point.
so excited. I hope everyone can come back. I really enjoy when the two rockers not assault Casey,
Whoa.
but when they
Yeah.
surround
Oh,
Casey and
what show is that?
and talk about how she really likes bad boys. That's
Yeah, that
probably my
number's
favorite
lovely.
little bit in the show.
Okay, what's your least favorite part of the show, or the worst part of the show? It could maybe not be your least favorite, but it's the worst part of the show.
I don't have one. Is there a word?
The worst part of the show is that it has to end.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's so lovely.
Okay,
Yeah.
great
I don't
answer.
have
Well,
a
I will
word.
say, okay, wait, because we didn't do it because it was so bad. There's a number that we cut from the show called OK Google or something. It's a terrible
That's
number.
Right.
But we were like, that's so bad. We're just not gonna worry.
That would
about
classify.
Oh,
Okay.
I forgot about that number.
it. Yeah.
I certainly
That's
have
the worst
zero
part.
understanding.
The
but I'll
World
agree
Wide
with you.
Web is forever is the actual name
Yes.
of the show. Yes.
Oh no. Yeah. Well, that's in the theme of Love Never Dies. The World Wide Web lives forever. Whatever. You just said that is. So who wins the show?
Casey and Aaron.
Everybody. They both win.
Everybody. It can't be everybody. Come
Well,
on.
no, because the waiter and Reggie end up
Yeah, they win.
together.
Nicole didn't
I think
win
that
specifically.
I think the waiter and Reggie last longer than Casey and what's his name?
Oh no, Reggie's too.
No.
No, there's no way.
After seeing the way that waiter behaves, yeah, the market is slim pickings, so he's got to hang on. I think that lasts longer. That's my opinion.
Reggie's so dramatic. I just hard
Hey.
time with that.
There's always one, right?
There's
Right?
only one.
Somebody's always more dramatic than the other, right?
It feels like you're trying to get us to say something, but I don't know what you're trying to get us to say.
What do you
Yes,
want
I'm
from
baiting
me?
What?
you. Come on.
What?
What do you want?
Nothing.
What are you
Let's
trying to
move
get
on. Yeah. Nothing. Yes, nothing. So, okay, so basically Brian picked a show that we pretty much like. So kind of going against the grain there a bit since we've had some issues with the first 2 weeks shows.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll start dumping on shows again soon.
Yeah. He originally had one picked that we were, the badness of it was a target-rich environment. Let's just say that. So I'm sure we'll come back around to that at some point. But Christina will have a doozy for us for show number 4. So
Oh yeah.
we'll leave you hanging on that one. So some topics this week to discuss. Moving on from first date. Last podcast we talked about what are some of the best and worst plays you've ever seen. I think with a wider array to choose from, what are some of the best and worst musicals you've ever seen? I mean, there's always a worst list. And Cats, we already know that's, there's 50 feet of crap, and then below that is Cats.
Yeah, I've never made myself watch Cats live. I don't intend to.
Live, taped, whatever. I don't want to see it again.
Nope.
So what, other than Cats, what are some of the best or worst musicals?
Go, 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 Joseph. It is the worst.
So Joseph is bad.
It's the worst. It's the worst.
What about you, Brian? What's the worst?
Phantom of the Country Opera is the worst thing I've actually seen on video.
You did yourself in. Now you can't joke with her that we're going to produce it here.
Oh, I can still joke with her. I can use it as a threat.
And that's the day I go.
Yes. So that's the day we're
hit the old dust
going to
trail,
Indeed.com and
GCT.
posting the job again.
We go. I mean, that show again. The little bit that I was able to stomach getting through. The show begins with like an opera company, and then I don't know. One of the star leaves to go somewhere. I don't know. And then like we go from opera, and then the next number is a line dance number, and that's just whoa. That is quite a leap.
Right. So we had a little pause there because somebody came in the back door. So what I was going to ask these guys is, okay, along the lines of best and worst, let's say what is, again, aside from Cats, I can't say that again, or Starlight Express, because you've already expressed your disdain for that show, or Joseph. What's a widely regarded musical that people think is great that you're like, no, it sucks?
Ooh.
Or one that was on Broadway or was Tony Award nominated or something like that you watch and you go, I'm not seeing it, or yuck.
It's probably not well known enough, but I saw a show on Broadway called Allegiance that had George Takei in it.
Oh,
And-
Mr.
yeah.
Sulu.
Yeah, and it was a musical. The story was great, but the score was so bad. The songs were terrible. But I mean, the story itself, I mean, it would have probably worked a lot better as just a play instead of trying to put songs into it, because it was just, the story was just a mess. And I just wonder, like, how did they get through all the workshops and be like, oh yeah, that sounds fine?
Right.
Because it wasn't fine. It was woof, just such a bad score. There was not a single song in it that was, pleasant to listen to.
Right. It sounds a lot like what you're describing, like when you see a movie that's really bad and you think, how many people had to greenlight this movie?
Mm-hmm.
And I watch it, and it's, lots of people watch it and go, this is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. I mean, even in the 80s, with a lot of bad movies out there, I remember watching bad movies in the 80s going, as a young person, how did this movie make the light of day? I mean, it's how Hot Dog the movie gets made, and then followed by Hamburger the movie. It's, I mean, we were really desperate for content, but still not that desperate. What about you?
1776.
Oh.
I know people love it. The music's pretty. You can't pay me to watch that musical. It's so long and so boring.
Well, if you've done what Brian did, you see the first 25 minutes, and you've seen the
Bebop
whole
out.
best part of the show.
Yeah, I made an hour. I was like,
Can't do it.
that's plenty.
I won't do it.
Is when again Theater Memphis did it. It
I
was a very lovely
I have
production.
no doubt that it was incredible.
But yeah, I saw an
and
hour and I was like, I'm good.
I just don't care. I don't want to watch it.
I know
I'm
how it
really
is.
interested to see this new, the remount that they're working on in New York, because they're actually divvying up the roles to like non-gender specific. There's like a lot of non-binary actors, a lot of different actors of color in it, and it's gonna
No,
kind
just
of be
making
a
just
brand
making it
new
vastly
take.
shorter is a
Yeah.
great step in the right
Shorter
direction.
is lovely. Yes.
I mean,
I
have-
didn't know
Just,
they would do that. Just
Yeah,
having-
Yeah, I
it
didn't
looks
either.
kind of cool.
It's like they're trying to rip Hamilton off.
Because
Being-
truthfully, I just don't want to watch 3 hours of like 20 white dudes
3.5
singing
hours.
about, anything.
between 3 hours
Well, they
and
don't
3.5
sing.
hours.
They don't like sing the first hour. You like
Oh,
you,
yeah.
you forget it's a musical, and then they start singing. And it's
Like,
like,
oh,
oh yeah,
whoa.
wait.
Yeah, there's like 3 songs in
Yeah.
the first 20 minutes, and then
Just
you
not
don't
for
hear
me.
music again. I mean, having that was the last show I was in a year and a half ago now. Feels like eons ago with COVID in between. But I really, and I've discussed this with one of my fellow actors in that performance, who is amazing at everything he does, and is a friend of the podcast, Kevin Matfitt, who played a pretty incendiary character even for that show, with, as you say, a bunch of white dudes on stage. But
Yeah.
he was clearly one of the racist white dudes.
What? Our founding fathers were racist?
Right?
What?
No way.
Get out of here.
So we really enjoyed being in the production. I won't speak for him, but I'll say I've told him I really enjoyed being in the production. It was really cool. It was very fulfilling. It was a long show, and I wasn't even on stage half the time in my character as Richard Henry Lee. I really loved my character. I loved doing the show, but like I said, it was just really long. Yes, it was comparatively pretty, kind of tone deaf.
Yeah.
And to her credit, our director really tried to add things where she could to make it, I think, more sensitive. But
Man.
there's only so much you can do with that script.
She is just the best at taking a turd and shining it into a gem. God knows that production of Young Frankenstein we did. That script is so bad, and she made such an incredible show out of it.
Yeah. So I mean,
She's
it's
the one you want for that. But
Yeah.
there's only
And-
so much you can do with it.
I mean, she did a lot with it, but it's still, like I said, it's just long, and it's drawn out, and yeah, for a musical, she'd probably get mad at me for not remembering, but I think there's only 9 songs in the whole show.
Yikes. No, thank you.
So, because there's 7 scenes, and the third scene is an hour and change long.
Yeah.
No. Bad.
So it's you start out with a great 90-second monologue by John Adams. Then you fire into Sit Down John, and you think, okay, this is going to be a rousing musical. And a couple songs later, it's okay, we're sitting here arguing. So, which is more like probably what Congress is really like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And John Adams' character alludes to it, which is funny.
I did. So DFT did this show as well
Really?
years
Okay.
ago. Yeah.
Oh.
Interesting.
And from my understanding, and I don't remember who cast the decisive vote at the very end of the show, but one night they voted wrong. So, for that audience, the Declaration of Independence was not signed,
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
and we're still British serfs.
It's Judge, I want to say Wilson from Pennsylvania,
That's awesome.
because Ben Franklin and I can't remember. Ben Franklin and somebody else cross votes, and then the guy who's supposedly with the other guy, who is very, I'm not voting for this, is, he breaks with him, and it's a dramatic scene that, takes much longer than it should to get through on stage, at least. So, but yeah, so that's a good one. What's a musical that is like not everybody thinks it's great, but you think, I don't care, I think it's awesome. Like a big one. Because I'll say, for me, I've of all the people I've asked about this, people have mixed feelings about Jekyll and Hyde. I love Jekyll and Hyde.
I like
Not
it.
because it's a great script, it's an okay script. I love a lot of the music in it.
Yeah, it's got pretty music.
But I've heard mixed feelings on it,
I think Carrie is a gem.
which it got
And it
panned
had,
by a lot of people.
oh man, it had a rough start. And then it got its little cult following. But I love that scrappy little show so much. I'll watch it over and over and over. The music, all bops. So many.
What about you, Brian?
Mean Girls. It's a delightful musical.
I don't think that's an unpopular opinion, though.
But I mean, I always think, as far as critically, people are like, oh, this is garbage. But I mean, it's just
Maybe.
a fun. I just, in general, I tend to like fun shows, and
Yeah.
I think that's just it's a fun, pleasant
That's
night at
so
the
good.
theater, and you don't have to think, and you don't have to worry about am I missing the overall message, and
Right.
why should I feel terrible about myself and how I was raised tonight? You can just sit back and enjoy that one. So.
Right.
I love feeling terrible about myself and how I was raised, though.
I just do that at home as well.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go, I do that.
Same.
I was going to say, going back to, for me at least, to throw in my opinion on a show that I hear a lot of people like, and it's been produced locally, at least in the last couple of years, a couple of times, that I, probably because I can't stand the movie either, is Heathers.
Oh, interesting.
Even when Heathers was out, all my friends thought, "Oh, what an edgy movie! It's so great." I didn't get it.
I thought you were going to say Mamma Mia for a second, and now I feel like
Well,
I should
that was not
actually
great.
change my answer to Mamma Mia, maybe.
You can say that one too. Throw
Oof.
that in as
Man,
that's a dinner roll on the side of the.
I know
the
everybody
plate.
loves. I don't
I'm not
ever.
a fan of Mamma Mia.
Please don't ever make me watch Mamma Mia.
Yeah,
And I love and support all my friends that are in it, but
we were
just
gonna
don't
do a
make me
student
watch
production
it.
of that, weren't we, Brian?
Mamma Mia
Jr.
Jr..
Yeah.
Directed by not me.
My thing with Mamma Mia is I just don't like ABBA. So if you don't like ABBA, you don't go for just the story. So
Hard.
I mean,
if someone made a Firehouse musical,
Oh, well,
even if the story
yeah.
was stupid, I would go and enjoy it.
it's.
But I understand that's a very limited market there.
I mean, you and I have a lot of similar interests, so it's we're both middle-aged white dudes, so that's understandable. Christine is way younger than we are, so
Way
It's-
younger.
yeah,
Way
I'm gonna say
younger.
way younger.
And Hispanic, so
Yes.
she's not.
Yeah.
She's
And
not
far
like us
better
at all.
looking than we are. We'll just say that too.
Yeah.
So,
All of the above.
see, we're just trying to make you not feel bad about yourself.
It's impossible anyway.
Sponsored by Psychiatric Clinics at GCT. So, moving on to our another feature this week that I started, and I'm going to ask you guys for your rapid fire opinions on a few things.
Oh God.
This is called Love It or Flush It. I'm going to try to add sound effects to this. So if you don't hear them, I'm not going to apologize, but I'm going to say, well, they're not there. So I'll have them at some point. So I have 5 topics to go through. Love it or flush it.
We're getting
Start
really
with you,
high tech
Christine.
this week, aren't we? With sound effects and intro music.
Oh, yeah.
Almost like a real podcast.
Almost.
Yeah, we're getting
working.
there.
When do we get MeUndies to sponsor us? Or the Tushy? I need a bidet.
Well, if Platinum Plus was still open in Memphis, I would be going to them for a sponsorship,
Yeah.
but they're not. So
Man, they've been open in 20 years.
is the Pony still open?
Pony's still open.
Yeah, I might go to them. for a sponsorship.
I want a bidet. We have to go to Tushy.
You want
Okay.
Do you want a bidet in our restroom? I wouldn't trust people with it.
Oh, I
They
want
can't
it.
flush the toilet.
I want it in mine.
Oh.
She wants to take it home. She
I
doesn't want to
see.
hear.
Need a free
Yeah.
bidet.
Well, if we buy you a bidet, will you bring the pool here?
Yes.
Trade us for the pool?
Yes.
So, yeah. Anyway, so first topic. I'll start with you, Christina, on this one, and you both weigh in, but I'll start with you.
All right.
Love it or flush it? The fan theory that LeFou is the mastermind of Beauty and the Beast.
Ooh, love it.
Okay, why?
Why
You just
not?
think it's true?
I
Or
just
you
love
think
it.
I love
I
conspiracy
thought this was
theories?
rapid fire. I love it.
It is, but give me like 15, 30 seconds on it.
Because I like a grossly weird theory about the dumbest person in a franchise being the smartest. Much like I like the idea of Jar Jar Binks being
God.
the top Sith Lord as a swerve. Would have made it all worth it.
Well, maybe. I don't know. He's
No,
pretty
it
bad.
wouldn't have. But it was so bad. Who cares? At this point, burn it all down.
How about you, Brian?
Flush it, and you can flush that entire Stockholm Syndrome musical down the toilet as well.
Fair enough. Having been in it twice, I can say yes, I'll flush that too. Although I have discovered in recent weeks that apparently, and I believe it's in one of the Epcot World Showcase pavilions in France, probably, that they have a show that actually Disney has made that actually acts like that's the truth. So they are purporting, if that's the right word, that theory themselves, in a sense.
That it's Stockholm Syndrome?
No, that LeFou is the
Oh.
mastermind. He's the puppet master.
That is the stupidest, and I am obsessed with it.
Okay.
Well, I just think of the first time I was in, it was Theater Memphis, and Jason Eschhoff, and another friend of the podcast, was LeFou, and I think of him being the mastermind, and I think, okay, I can see that. So,
I don't know. It's like claiming the parrot is the mastermind in Aladdin. So I'm not down with that. It's not okay.
Kind of like
you're not a Zazu guy? Okay.
No, Zazu's that's
that's
Lion King.
Okay, I don't know.
How dare
Iago, I
you.
believe.
Iago?
Yeah.
I thought that was the bad guy.
No, that's
That's
Jafar.
Okay.
Jafar's the bad guy.
Well,
All right.
I'm glad I
So
don't
this
know
isn't a
that much
Disney
about Disney.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a
Moving
4-year-old
on.
daughter, so
Here's the next one, and I think you'll like this one, Brian. This is for you first.
yeah.
Showgoers / patrons who leave at intermission.
Am I?
You loving it or flushing it?
I love it as long as I don't ask for refunds. So. Look, I mean,
I figured
theater
as a theater runner, you'd like that question.
theater is, it should be enjoyable, and if would be happier to leave intermission, by all means. I don't fault you for that.
Well, because
There's been a couple shows that I have not enjoyed to the point that I'm just like I'm good to go. So
well, and that's fine. I get what you're saying there. I guess I should clarify. I mean, at every theater that I've ever spent time at, I've heard stories of there are season ticket holder types who, it doesn't matter how good or bad the show is, they leave at intermission. Just because they're not going to sit here for more than an hour and a half, regardless of how good the show is. So
That is so
I like-
stupid.
I like to think that they're just so randy for each other from being at the show that they gotta
my
go
God.
home. They
Andy went there.
They gotta.
Dad, please stop.
maybe I can insert some
Theater's an
God,
aphrodisiac.
oh my
music
God, I'm
behind
gonna
this
vomit.
statement.
And all of
Keep
you,
going.
if you want to have a similar experience, you need to buy season tickets and come to the theater so that, yes, you too can get laid.
So you
Please
can-
don't
so you can
advertise
be
our shows
something
like this. Oh, God.
creative partners with us. Yeah. Hint, hint.
Next on stage, Miracle on 34th Street,
Yeah.
the radio play, student cast.
Yeah.
Why? No.
Followed by a midnight full Monty. Isn't it? So, how about you, showgoers that leave at intermission?
Oh my God, flush it forever. It's so rude. It's so I can't.
I
First-
flush it.
I cannot. It's so rude. What is it like? Act 2 is always shorter. It's like an extra hour of your life. You paid for it. Just sit down and chill out. If you need to go get like an extra glass of wine at intermission, just do it.
But what if the
Just
show
go.
is so bad? You have been in these shows that
Oh.
have been garbage.
I
You
have
still punish yourself with
sat-
more of
Yeah,
it?
man. I have literally only left one show at intermission.
What was the show?
And I'm not going to say.
What? Come on.
Was I in it? Was I in
Probably
it?
Arsenic and
No.
Old Lace. That's the only show
I
we've been
don't
in
think
together.
so. No, I won't say, but literally, I have
That means
the
it was
many,
local. She doesn't want to
many
make anybody mad.
hours of terrible theater I've seen. I've left once, and I felt bad about it, honestly. But no. It's
How
not-
long did you
not
beat yourself
acceptable.
up over it?
Not very long.
By the time you got home, were you
I
over
was
it?
mostly worried because the teacher was there, and
Okay.
definitely one of my professors absolutely
So-
saw me.
So we're drilling down to the answer here.
But
We're baiting the answer out of you.
no.
Okay, so next topic. Because I think, as you know, we've all been in shows, and you guys have directed shows. I hear differing opinions because this has always kind of interested me. I've never done a Shakespeare show or anything like that, but people have said Shakespeare shows, one of the reasons that some actors love them is because there is almost no stage direction. So they are free to be more creative, assuming the director allows that. So shows with very little stage direction, doesn't have to be Shakespeare, but anything like that. Because we know some shows are very specific in what they're looking for. Some are not. Do you love it or flush it, shows with almost no stage direction?
Well, I actually love it because first of all, so most of the time when there's a lot of stage direction added into a script, a lot of times it's the stage manager of the original production that writes it in anyway. And a good playwright usually, I mean, like there are exceptions, usually will give pretty minimal stage direction because the text should speak for itself.
Right.
And then, you know, if you have a good director too, they'll be able to navigate what's necessary and what's not. But you don't need it. You don't need it, no matter what the play is, if you've got it in the right hands.
But you?
What? Stage directions.
It's forgotten already.
So minimal stage directions. Yes, that's great.
Love it or flush it?
Love it.
Okay.
But even if there is like pages and paragraphs of stage directions, I mean, the great late John Roan, I believe in the show that we were in,
Yes.
kept getting on to the actors because they were reading the stage directions. He's like, you don't have to read those.
Right. Yes. We even
Exactly.
called Joseph Kesselring.
We called Joseph
in hell
Kesselring to
many times.
verify it was okay that we not follow the stage directions in his script.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, a director that's, you know, trying and prepared, the stage directions really shouldn't be a concern. The stage directions on initial read kind of give you an idea of maybe a little bit more insight on what's actually happening for some difficult passages, but once you understand what's trying to be accomplished in the scene, yeah, the director should block his characters in a way to convey what is meaning to be.
Well, and sarcastically, are you trying to imply that some directors are not as prepared as others?
Absolutely, yes.
We're talking
I
about
love
this
that
in
comment.
playwriting class right now, actually.
Really?
Overuse of stage
We have a
directions.
playwriting class here at GCT. Tell us
We
about
sure
it.
do. We have playwriting classes for ages 8 to 13, and they are the bomb. They're writing original works right now, and I'm going to tell you that some of their scenes are better than scenes I've seen adults write time to time. So,
Better than the play you talked about you had to go see in Mississippi? Probably.
Oh, absolutely.
the future is now.
Yes. So if you're interested with your 8 to 13-year-old,
Yeah, we're going to
Give
do
us a call.
another round of this one for sure. It is so much fun.
so that was a good segue. We didn't even plan or organic plug there.
Beep boop bop.
So here's the next question, and this is specifically to start with you, Brian.
Okay.
If the musical version came out of Roadhouse, love it or flush it?
Oh.
Sight unseen. Are you too married to the movie, or would you say have to see it? Yes.
I'd have to see it. I thought you were asking would I produce it.
No.
No, I'd have to see it. I would love to see the show.
Or would you say no? I am not putting that memory in my mind.
No, I would absolutely see it. I would love to see it. Any movie that I love that they would do a musical version of, I will see. Of course, you know, it all depends on the music. So if they tried to do Roadhouse with, you know, like they did with Hamilton and make it a rap musical, then I probably wouldn't enjoy that. So
Well, I think it would probably be a bunch of Jeff Healey style songs. It would have to be. to fit the Roadhouse
See,
theme.
yeah, that's kind of, at least as I age into my dad bod and my dad mind, that's kind of, I see myself being attracted to bluegrass and outlaw country and stuff like that. So, that Roadhouse musical is sounding better and better.
My God.
friend.
Hey, I thought of it as an idea, and I said, why has Brian not tried to write this yet? So, okay, what if Roadhouse was a musical? Would you go see it?
No.
Okay.
But I would probably try to find a bootleg on YouTube specifically to see the grossness and how it is staged. I just want to see. Yeah. That's it, though. Roadhouse slime tutorial.
Actually, there may be a Roadhouse the musical. It's called Phantom of the Country Opera.
Oh, so you're saying we should produce that?
No.
Let us not.
Only if Christina agrees to direct.
No,
And star.
No,
Well, then I guess we're not doing it.
Star vehicle.
Absolutely
Hernandez.
not.
Final one, starting with you. Love it or flush it. The fact that only 2 months out of the year we can get Count Chocula.
Flush, 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 flush.
Brian,
You're gonna hit that.
are you just going to stop at that? Are you going to hit that? Is that what you're going to say?
With her flush, flush, flush. I mean, I assume you're gonna have to hit the sound effect every time she says
Yeah,
flush.
I might have to. If I can get it in there, it will be a continuous. It'll be one of those 30-second.
I tried to
flush
make it
noises
kind
I
of
found.
sound like onomatopoeia-ish. Make like a flush,
Flush,
sound.
flush, flush.
Flush.
I will flush it only because I know you guys love it
I
so
will
much.
flip this desk over if you say
I,
otherwise.
I do like the two of you, and I could care less about Count Chocula, but since you guys love it, I support with the things that you love.
Good answer.
Yes, it's very, very
Within
diplomatic.
reason. Within reason.
That's why you're running the
No.
theater. So, okay. So we'll have more love it and flush it. Love it or flush it next time. I guess you could do both if you wanted to.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I loved, my pet goldfish, but I flushed it when it died. So let's move on to some crazy theater stories, or the crazy theater story of the week, courtesy of a website called notalwaysright.com. This one is called I Am Pissing Sarcasm. It says from Stupid Theater USA.
Tight.
So, I work in an old restored theater which has been turned into a multi-level concert and entertainment complex. One of my jobs is to stand and direct people to various venue events, concessions, or restrooms. I wear a distinct uniform and ID badge. One evening I'm directing hall traffic, standing directly beneath the sign for the restrooms. The sign is made of brass letters approximately 1 foot tall by 8 foot long. And the doors to the men's and women's are directly under it. Patron comes up and says, "Do you work here?" "Yes, ma'am. Can I help you?" The uniform didn't give it away, ? "Patron, do you have restrooms?" I say, "Yes, ma'am, we do." In parentheses, you are looking right at the darn sign and the doors. Patron, "Do you know where they are?" Me, I say, "Oh gosh, I've only worked here a couple of years and I've yet to find them. I just used the bushes out at the side of the building." Patron, long pause. "Oh, okay, so which door do I go out of?" ...
There's always one.
So
Yeah.
I have to say, as a person that runs a theater, I would fire that person on the spot because it doesn't matter
I
if
guess
they're
I
a patron.
I shouldn't house manage anymore.
Yeah, if they're a patron. You should absolutely.
I wouldn't say that.
You can say whatever you want in your head, but you better be as polite and nice to the patrons as you
You
possibly
gotta be
can.
nice to this stupid idiot.
That's a good underhanded way to say it in there. So, moving on to another new feature that we have, and I'm going to pause here, insert music. Brian's wild and zany dad joke of the day. So, or jokes, depending on how many it'll take before Christina stabs him in the eye with her straw out of her cup.
There will be just one dad joke today.
Okay, one dad joke. Take it
Because
away, Brian.
We're going to do it every week.
I'll try to insert some rim shot here too.
There's no. Let the music carry the segment. What's Whitney Houston's favorite type of coordination? And I. Thank you. This has been Dad Jokes.
Wow. Christina looks like she's trying to do a Vulcan mind meld on herself so that she can throw that memory out somewhere on the street and run it over. What's your thoughts on that joke?
I don't know if maybe it's just the confidence with which you tell the dad jokes that makes me want to throw myself in front of a bus.
I'm doing it absolutely right. Okay. One more.
Uh-oh.
Damn it.
Bonus edition. What does a nosy pepper do?
I refuse to respond.
It gets jalapeno business.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Tune in next week for more dad jokes with
Oh,
Brian
goodness.
Everson.
What do you think of that feature, Christina?
Do you see the
Love it or flush
like
it.
a single tear is trying to escape my right eye.
Christina, tell the audience though why I'm now into dad jokes. Who do we have to thank?
The universe hates us.
No.
I don't know.
Why am I now into dad jokes?
Because
What happened here at the theater that I'm now into them?
we told him about Instagram. We told Dad about Instagram, and now everything is terrible. Don't
Everything is awful.
let your parents, real or false, have social
That's right.
media children.
It's great.
I'm glad I gave it up.
Yeah,
It's
for the best.
they kept pushing me into this dad role.
Okay, yes.
Christina and Leah kept pushing. Oh, you're dad. You're blah blah blah. So okay, fine. And so now
you're assuming the role
I have
of
fully
dad.
embraced my dadness.
It's true. He wore sweatpants the
Sounds
other
like
day.
a Progressive insurance commercial.
Yeah.
going here.
Again, I wore sweatpants because I had to drive 7 hours and didn't feel like wearing jeans.
Oh, well.
They also made fun of my tennis shoes. So this weekend, I immediately went out and bought new tennis shoes.
Oh no, we didn't mean to bully you.
I mean, I don't wear sweatpants, but I'll wear workout shorts and a t-shirt when I drive long distances. I'm not going to drive in khakis and trousers.
And
a
normally I
button-down.
would, but I was stopping into work first, and I wanted something with pockets. So I put my keys and stuff in, but no.
I don't drive in my bloopers.
boss? He's wearing these awful tennis shoes.
Should we get you one of those phone clips for your pants so you can clip your phone
Yeah,
to that?
please.
How about a
Please
fanny
do.
pack? Get him that.
Yeah.
Can you walk around with that on?
I love a good fanny pack.
I think he'd look funny with a fanny pack.
I also think that.
So, new idea.
I would
Right
ask-
along with the Roadhouse musical.
I'd look stupid with the fanny pack, and that's what we all want. But I wouldn't do that. So you can
I
buy
bet
me,
if I found the right fanny pack, you would.
You buy. Please waste your money on fanny packs, and I
Challenge
will
accepted.
I will take them and be like, I don't know, make a flag out of them and put them behind your desk or something. I don't know.
Rachel, be warned. The fanny pack
Yeah.
is coming.
Yeah.
He's going to come on with one on one day.
So Instagram, though, I mean, again, they've
You're changing the
opened
subject
my
here?
eyes to Instagram, and so here's an interesting thing about the gram. Is that how the kids do it? The
Please
Please
gram.
explain Instagram, one of the most popular social media platforms to our
So, no.
audience member.
Help me.
Please.
Instagram is a place where you put dank memes and
I've
cat
heard of dank
cat
memes.
photos and dad jokes, and that's what I use it for. So my wife is much more versed in the Instagram than I am.
Because she's way younger than you.
She's way younger than me. I did well.
And she's real cool.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. So she found out I was on Instagram, and so then she followed me on Instagram. And I followed her back, and I thought it was a little
Well,
weird.
it was gentlemanly.
It's a little weird because the photo on her Instagram is the photo that was on her Facebook when we met like a decade ago. And then she never posts on the Instagram. It's just a bunch of old pictures.
That's not true. She posts all the time.
And then I found out that she has a
another account,
second Instagram account,
Told you.
which she did not follow me
The
with,
infidel account.
that she actually uses, in which I then found a bunch of pictures of her in bathing suits and lingerie. And I'm wondering why that wasn't the one that followed me. So explain that to me, audience.
We have derailed.
Wow.
Yeah. This podcast took a turn to the dark.
So what's going on?
Should I count that as your
tell
closing
me.
rant?
I don't know. I'm new to the gram, so I mean,
We're-
what does that mean in gram news?
I don't know, man.
Young teenage woman.
I don't think that is,
This closing
is an
rant
Instagram
was brought to you
question
by
at
Jimmy the
all.
Cock of, Bluff City Law fame. We have Jimmy the Cock in the office here, and that closing rant was brought to you by Jimmy the Cock. Do you have any more to say on that?
No, I was
About
just curious
the gram?
if there's any insight into why I get followed by the loser account and not the good one.
I told you there's two accounts. As soon as you started to go down that path, I said, because there's another account.
I mean, is it do you how many you're on the gram? Do you have how many accounts do you have?
I have one,
Okay.
and then our Riverdale school account that I never use.
Okay.
So one.
I guess you could say I kind of have
I
two,
think I
but
canceled mine.
a
lot of people
Robin
have-
runs the other one for the theater.
Yeah, a
'cause-
lot of people
Yeah.
have multiple Instagrams if they do stuff like modeling work, photography, stuff like that. And
Well, it
I mean,
sounds
like
like she's been
Rachel.
modeling on one of them.
Well, Rachel,
She's definitely been
not
yeah,
so.
and she's
I
always
just
like
wasn't invited to those.
auditioning and self-taping. Maybe she just didn't want any of your shenanigans near her trying to book jobs.
Maybe.
Maybe she got worried
Maybe my
about
dad jokes would keep her from getting the job.
She's like, listen, I'm really trying to land this film gig, but
But I mean, it's not like Facebook. You can't like post something to someone else's Instagram account, right?
you can tag people.
Oh, you can tag.
Why
them?
am I
Okay.
telling you this?
Oh,
Yeah.
now I can tag you on all the dad jokes.
Why? Yeah.
No, that would spoil the fun when I get to see you. I don't want you.
You're
To,
setting yourself up for all this.
I don't want you
That's
to
why
read them
I-
before I tell them to you. So yeah, you don't have
Right.
to worry about me tagging you ever.
Silence.
It's all right. At some point,
never
we'll put his Netflix clip from Uncorked up.
Ooh.
And that'll also make Rachel mad, too. Since she worked about double the hours he did, and he got lines. So
Double now. It's
Amazing.
4 times. And she went 2 days, I think, for 12 hours each day, and I was there 4 hours
yeah,
total.
I would relate that in terms of like an Avenue Coffee video. That there was certain people who worked it but weren't in it.
But they were
That's kinda
credited.
like-
They were credited. That's the important thing.
That's kind of like
got
what
credit.
Rachel was in
Oh
Uncorked.
no. Yeah, that's
Whereas
unfortunate.
Brian was jogging through some Midtown Avenue in the daytime. Yeah, it's something like that.
Man.
Anyway, what's your closing rant for the day? I gave him credit for his.
That wasn't my rant for the day.
Oh, you have another one?
No, I was just asking about Instagram.
Well, I'll let him. You went on about.
I think that
the
should be a new
gram.
segment. Dads need tech advice. That should be a segment. I can't even find theme music
Do we need
for it.
another podcast for that?
Probably.
Well, let's let her have a turn at the mic
Yeah,
for
yeah.
a second.
I'm sorry,
What's
I'm-
your closing rant?
I'm
sponsored by
monopolizing
Jimmy
the mic.
Cock?
I just don't even know what to say anymore. I regret everything.
Okay.
And just, don't ever introduce your parents to the social media if they don't know what it is already. And registered vote. Please. That's it.
Okay. Good. Succinct.
Please vote.
I like it. Yeah. Ryan, what's your other closing rant of the day? Because clearly you had some content ready to go that was not on Instagram.
No, I mean,
That's all right.
Instagram's.
Should we put you on a Snapchat account so you can send Snapchats to
No,
Christina and
You
stuff?
can get TikTok before TikTok's banned.
no.
It's coming.
Yeah,
I downloaded it the other day just in case.
I'm not getting
I
that
was
either.
I was totally fine with them banning it because the little I've seen of TikTok, it just seems like people doing dances. I don't.
That's
understand.
part of TikTok, yes.
It's like, come to a dance class instead of dancing for your phone. Express your art in a forum besides your phone. I think we're too attached to our phones. And that's my rant for the day. There's a wonderful documentary on Netflix right now. It's about
Oh no.
the dangers of social media, and how.
I think I know where she's going, but go ahead.
But it's seriously, the people that used to work at Facebook and Instagram, all these people sit down and tell you exactly how you're being manipulated and how they are addicting you to social media with the likes and suggestions. And it is terrifying, particularly as a parent of, a 9, 4, and soon-to-be 1-year-old, that these kids are going to be so addicted in their worldview of themselves physically and their relationships is going to be basically told to them by an algorithm. And I think so often we just need to put our phones down and actually interact with each other in person and not worry about people liking what we're doing or needing to be, put a smiley face after a comment and stuff like that. I think talk to your friends in person as much as you can. Call them on the phone, as much as I hate talking on the phone. But get it off the social media and live in the real world a little bit instead of on a network. And that's my rant for the day.
That's a good rant, because in all seriousness, 2 things I would add is having children of my own. It's like I see enough adults who are my age and even older who are addicted to social media. So I can't even imagine what it would be like for, any child or teenager or even someone in their 20s that's what they've grown up with as a formative piece of life, and the feeling that they can't live without it.
The name of the documentary is The Social Dilemma, and so I would just recommend people watch it and see how they are getting into your brain and trying to hook you and basically addict you to their networks.
Yep. The other thing I would add is it's serious, but I'll say it in a funny, at least I think it's a funny way, is what you described as, getting off of your phone and actually talking to people and not caring what people think. That's pretty much what we're doing right now, right here.
Sure, because no one's going to listen
The
to
three
this.
of us are sitting here talking, and we don't really care what people think of what we said, other than us. So,
Never have, never will.
yeah, exactly. So, what were you laughing about? I'm curious.
We were talking about the social dilemma the other day, and I was getting really tickled about it because it's just stuff that I feel like most of us talk about already. And I think it's really funny that old Zuckerberg was like not available for comment and won't participate in any of the apology.
Yeah.
It seems like a very hilarious, like half-ass way to apologize for social media without really apologizing for it.
Yep.
Cashing in with that doc, but
Oh yeah, keep cashing them
it's
checks.
all a dumpster fire. That's
Yes.
my point.
I mean,
All
George
of it.
Carlin, even in 2008, in his last comedy special, said, in 20, 30 years, the world will be a big steaming ball of shit. So,
And it is.
we're getting there quickly.
Didn't take 20 years.
Yeah.
Nah, baby.
Right.
Took 12.
Yeah. So, rest in peace, Georgie. So, anyway, okay. Well, that'll wrap for this podcast. We may tape another this week if we feel like it, because we enjoy doing this, even if you're not listening. So, but if you do listen, please give us a like, give us comments, and as Christina said, we have plenty of educational classes and opportunities here for your chillins, and we also do have shows coming up at some point. So, please check the website at gctcomplay.org.
And also don't forget there's a whole South Park episode about what happens when you bring your lady to the theater. So look it up.
That
Oh my
is true.
god, oh my god.
That's a great
Yeah.
reason to get your tickets now for our upcoming season.
I do not
And
condone
if
this
you leave
advertising campaign.
the student production of Miracle on 34th radio, and that's your thought, the South Park
You
episode,
should
then
absolutely not be thinking
should-
of that for
Don't
that
ever
you
show.
should
tell me.
re-examine your life.
Please don't ever talk to me about that.
As
if
much
that's
as I
what
think
happens.
that's funny, you should really re-examine your life.
Holy
All
Lord.
right. Okay, so great note to end on. Thanks, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Peace.